Yes, I tell you what, it was the story of the week, wasn't it? Michael Voss's departure. He got in first, and good on him. And Damo, you got the interview through no other means other than trust.
Yes, TJ. Yeah, there was certainly no money exchange while some were arguing that during the course of the week. Just on the wider, I suppose, process of media, TJ, we're always under pressure to perform, aren't we? And I'm not referring to anything during the week, but I raise that today because late in this first segment, no one is going to be under more pressure than your good self when you take over what caught my eye. We've all got in today. We've all got items of what caught my eye. I looked down the sheet. You've got 9 items you're going to deliver yourself. You said, clear it out. It's TJ's paddock.
I know. I'm a little concerned. I'm just on that Vossi interview there, were you concerned, Damo? Because, look, you're not Brad Pitt, let's be honest, right? But you're not exactly Attila the Hun either. But AFL, your employer, just felt compelled to actually have a distraction. So this is what happened. This was on their TikTok account. And as you're actually... They put up that, like a video game, so people could actually watch that video game and listen to the interview. But it wasn't just the AFL, because your other employer, Triple M, also felt compelled to actually put this brain rot, as they call it, while you were talking.
Well, it's clearly not directed at you, TJ. It's directed at the young people of the world on the... process of TikTok.
Well, you've got our guarantee, mate. We are not going to stoop so low as to actually do that here, Damo. Okay. So if this was to bob up at any point through the show, you know there's no disrespect intended.
Right. Oh, that's a good start from you, Tej. I hope it finishes well and what caught my eye as well. So there's a lot of pressure. I thought Carlton was under the pump this week.
That's the reason why I passed on that one this morning.
How do you reckon that went, Tej?
That's all right. Are you right?
Did you have first look?
See, it says here, good get Nathan Brown, and he hasn't done it. Yeah.
Because you're scared of Damo, that's why.
I'm not scared of Damo, I just didn't think it was funny.
Let's have a look at the results so far for this round of football. I can't wait to take you down, Nathan.
The statement win, TJ, came at the very first game of the round, the Geelong win over the Brisbane Lions. It was a big win for that club this year. Sydney just did what it needed to do against the Collingwood Footy Club. Adelaide belted North Melbourne. Melbourne, 7 wins, 3 losses. Huge against the Hawthorn Footy Club yesterday. And the Josh Fraser interim coaching of Carlton gets the Blues their second win of the season against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and the ladder looks this way. Sydney still on top. Had to do the hard work. Fremantle well up in second spot there. Then Geelong, have a look at that. They've still got 6 games to go at GMHBA Stadium, just positioning themselves nicely. The Bulldogs and Collingwood just slipping out. The interesting one is going to be St Kilda, Yoke today, North Melbourne, the Giants, all the way down to Richmond.
What do you mean St Kilda's going to be
Well, I just think they need to win. They play a game where they play against Richmond. It is a must-win game for them today. They're just outside the 10. They've gone heavy in the off-season. I love the fact they've gone, but these are the wins that they just can't afford to slip up with no Nazai Wanganeen-Miller.
All right, well, you're on a roll. Tell us about Carlton.
Well, Carlton were fantastic, particularly in the last quarter. So the last quarters and the third quarters have been their Achilles heel this year, but it wasn't last night, it wasn't the week before. So they took the form in from last week against Brisbane. They kicked 5 goals to nothing in this last quarter and just put a space on the Bulldogs, who are really disappointed. We'll get into them in a minute, but it was just good for the long-suffering Carlton fans to see this happen. The young man there kicking a great goal. That was brilliant. Ison, he was great as well. We're going to speak about him, but it was just a nice moment for the Blues in a pretty ordinary season
like
so far.
Sheeds, when I first got to the club, he was big on the psychology of sport, and he said you might think that it's about your kicking, you might think about your strength, it's your power, but it's between the ears that's most important, and that is a between the ears win. How could they kick 5 goals to 2 in the last quarter with a new coach when they haven't been able to see out a game?
Well, what do you put it down to?
I just think it's just a break, mental shift.
It's mental. It's a mental break.
It's all a mental thing,
yeah, an attitude like you've got to want to win. And Cripper we'll get to Cripper in a sec, but he played like he wanted to win that last quarter and do everything that you
Okay, so you're saying that he didn't want to win?
It was a circuit breaker. But again, CJ, it's a good question you asked, because what will happen next week? You know, the caretaker, I think it's 9 wins and 9 losses or something. The last 18 games, you know, it's 50-50 that things shift and turn around. So again, it's on the players, and the players have got out of this scot-free a little bit. But you know, why could they produce like that in the last quarter when they haven't been for the rest of the time?
It's a free swing, that first game after a coach gets sacked, isn't it?
Yeah. And Josh Fraser obviously taking the reins of the club after the Tuesday resignation of Michael Voss. That's obviously Josh on screen there. Highly respected in the industry, Brownie, and a man who anyone having to do with will vouch for him as a person. But he has publicly said that he is not going to be partaking in the process around to become the locked-in senior coach from 2027 onwards. I would imagine that would change if he manages to get a few wins between now and the rest of the year.
So how does it change, Damo? What win-loss ratio do you think when Carlton start to think, you know what, Paul Roos is probably the last one that's been successful at it?
I think if he just gets them to play similarly to what he did last night and to play right to the end of the fourth quarter, I would think he might change his own
Is there
mind.
a win-loss ratio?
Let's say if he say 45% of what's remaining.
I think he says that, Damon, because he knows he's not getting it. There's no chance Josh
But it also
Fraser.
takes a lot of pressure off himself.
It does, but
doesn't
there's
it?
no chance Josh Fraser coaches Carlton.
It doesn't matter if he wants it either, does it?
It's great advice, Paul, and we'll discuss it on the agenda section of the show, TJ.
Sorry.
No, we'll discuss the full issue at the
Right, OK, so that's the coach. Tell us about the captain.
Yeah, the captain, the leaders all stood up, and Paddy Cripps' last quarter was enormous. He had 13 touches, 6 of those were clearances. His contested work was elite, and I said before, TJ, he looked like, and it looked like their whole players, it was led by Cripper, but he played with an attitude they want to win. They're going to win the game of footy, and not that they want to hold on to a lead or not lose a game. And I think there's a massive shift in that mindset, as Lordo mentioned, but he looked freer, back to his best, and this is what I think Carlton have been screaming out for, or not. Cripper has been screaming out for in particular. Just play him where he's good, Lordo. Just play him in the midfield, make sure he has his 10-plus clearances, and then if he needs a spell, Brownie, push him forward for a stint too.
It's the most influential game I've seen from him in a couple of years. And you see it across the competition, Ruckman are dominating. So you got Jackson dominating, Gawn, Brodie, Grundy. That's why they're the best sides in it, most of them at the moment. Whereas the Western Bulldogs season fell apart when Tim English went down. Another concussion for Tim English. This was a Carlton game last night where they beat you up in the clearance, beat you up in inside 50, beat you up in contested possession. The Dogs had no answer for it, and then they fell apart in the last quarter. So here's just a couple of clips where Paddy Cripps on the burst. So what's happened to Fraser? What's happened to Ed Richards? Ask the question about the Western Bulldogs. What's become of them? What has happened to Riley West this year? They've fallen apart. So we talk about losing Darcy. Love this from George Hewitt. Look at the block to protect. They know where the ball's going. When you don't have a recognised ruckman, Carlton were able to get on the burst for most of the night, and Bustlinger felt sorry for him. He was just, the ball come in that many times that they panicked a fair bit in defence as well. So Carlton won their way.
There's worries now, Lordo. They won their first 4 games of the season. The Bulldogs have now lost 5 of their past 6. Coach Luke Beveridge post-match giving a reason and a context to it, but I think equally putting some heat on his players.
Historically, there have been 1 or 2 that have got a lot of those contested possessions for us. 1 or 2 who aren't in our team at the moment, so others need to pick up that vibe and that slack. We played a really disappointing game against Carlton at State League level today as well, so for the club we haven't had a good day. We've always been at our best when there's been real competition for spots. And I just said to the players then, that really isn't there at the moment.
They're in a massive slump, that's obvious, Rory, but the wins came against Brisbane Lions, GWS, Adelaide and Essendon. And those losses, Hawthorn, Geelong, Sydney, Fremantle and now Carlton. There was a narrow win against Port Adelaide amongst those past 6 matches only. So it's been off a cliff since round 4.
It has. And when Bont's not firing or winning the game off his own boot, we were chatting about that earlier, weren't we? They're very reliant on him at the moment. He needs some more troops to help him out.
Well, only 2 players outside Bontempelli last night had 20-plus disposals. I mean, there's never been an easier time in football
who were they?
to get the footy in the midfield. So Bailey Dale and also Sanders had 26. Bailey Dale was terrific. But in footy these days, I mean, if you're playing midfield, you should be getting low 20s to mid-20s, and nobody got their hands on the footy, which results in negative 17 inside 50s last night. You just can't win having that many inside 50s.
And Ed Richards has been playing like Bontempelli, but he's not having anywhere near the impact of last year.
100%? Because remember that only a few weeks back he was going to be missing for an extended period and then played that week.
Yep.
So maybe
foot and knee problems for him.
Yeah. Hey, what about Melbourne? I mean, I said in the introduction there about Stephen King wanting the club to become a box office attraction, but he also said he wants neutral supporters to enjoy what they're doing. I'm a neutral supporter. I watched that yesterday. They were sensational to watch.
Yeah, and that's who the Western Bulldogs play this week, TJ. So they're up against one of the most informed sides in the comp, and they kicked another 120 points. And these aren't just any wins. These are wins against high-quality sides. So look at Gold Coast by 20 points, Brisbane by 2 and Hawthorn by 39. So it certainly stacks up, Nath, with the way they're performing. Got good core senior players who are performing.
They're exciting.
And good kids who are going well as well.
You mentioned blockbuster and big games, TJ. That's what they're embracing, isn't it? And I'm loving about it. Even last week, when they had to get a job done against West Coast in round 9, they went and did it, but they talked about this Hawthorn game prior to and post that game. And then you take what Stephen King said post-match after belting Hawthorn.
I think even yesterday, it's a game we had to win and get through, but I know from us internally, all eyes are on Hawthorn this week.
I want to be box office. I want our club to play on the big stage. I want to play in those games, and obviously we'll have to keep doing it for a bit longer to hopefully get recognised in that manner. But I think our players love playing that brand of footy, and when it gets rolling, it's hard to stop.
Colin Tholstrup had the job on Nick Watson, the biggest job in football with no Jack Gunston. There's only one man to stop, and forwards hate it when you put body on them. He's happy to go off Watson here. 50. The thing is, you've got to get it out of bounds, which he does. So a really good start early. Watch him here, just all day, body, just checking his run. Forwards hate this. Again, not allowing him to run. So sometimes Watson just refused to run. This is one of the times where he doesn't have body on him. And watch what Watson does. When you don't have body on a small player and you allow him to run around the back, you don't check him, you don't check his run, then it becomes really easy. So he did it so well for the whole day. This time, he's on him, then he goes in the air again. So Watson wasn't himself, only had the 5 score involvements yesterday. But again, have a look at him. He's at the top here. He's got body every time. And Watson just couldn't get a good run at the football. Hands on him again, just all day this was. The 3 goals he kicked were the only 3 times he lost body on him. This is them there. Look, loses body, the dangerous space in front of Watson. The only 3 times he didn't have body on him, he kicked 3 goals. But I thought Tholstrup won the battle on the day.
On the Hawthorn form, Rory, how do you put down a Barris and Gunston being out of the side versus they're just not quite there?
I mean, every team has injuries, don't they? And then I heard Sammy Mitchell say it after the game, he's never going to make an excuse for their injuries. But you look at their recent form, they only just scraped in against Port Adelaide. It's been the goals they have been conceding, so it is a big loss not having Barris in there. I think Will Day coming in the second half of the year will freshen up that midfield too. They've been slugging it out this first part of the year, and they look a bit beaten up, but the losses to Fremantle and Melbourne in particular, that was a bad loss. So are we worried? Are you worried about Hawthorn?
I said last week I wasn't, but that's another disappointing loss.
Have they got depth?
Well, they're irreplaceable. Like Gunston's irreplaceable.
Will Day to come back.
And Scholes hasn't been there as well, so they've lost key players. But again, you just got to find ways to win at times, which they can't.
Sam Mitchell hasn't had reason to question his players' desire, Lordo, has he? He did yesterday, post-match. He also was prepared to take it as a one-off viewpoint on what happened.
We sort of pride ourselves on our work rate, and we got a lesson today. I would say that it's an outlier performance for this group. Like, it's been a long time since you would have to say that we have been genuinely outworked in a game. I thought if you watch that game, and it's very rare that I would have questioned that part of our group, and just thought they were a bit too good for us today.
Well, the good news for Hawthorn fans is a premiership hero of days gone by. Clinton Young is going to be on the handball a little later on up against Dyson Heppel. Stand by for that. Adelaide absolutely obliterated North Melbourne in what has become one of the great hoodoos of football.
Yeah, it's 14 straight games I think North have lost over there, and Adelaide's second quarter was enormous. They piled on 10 goals, and everyone keeps saying, Adelaide's ball movement's got to improve, and it did. It improved massively from this game, but it wasn't off the back of how they used it. It was off the back of their pressure. Their pressure was elite. They had 31 tackles in that second quarter alone, and normally when you dominate a quarter, the tackle numbers out of your favour, but North's was disappointing. They had 12 tackles in that second quarter, and Adelaide showed that when they press the game up and they press hard, Lordo, they can turn the ball over in dangerous spots and give their full chance.
So the big test for Adelaide now is to do it against a good side. So they've been questionable as well, the Adelaide Crows, against good sides. So they have Hawthorn on Thursday night in Tasmania. So it should be a good challenge.
North Melbourne's kicking efficiency was diabolical in that second quarter. I know they kicked 10 goals in that quarter, Adelaide, but North Melbourne just continually kicked it straight to them in dangerous positions.
Yeah, you've been telling me for weeks, Brownie, the North's on the right track.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Are you standing by that?
Look, I think they're a lot better than what they were. They started this game on fire yesterday, and I was shocked to look at the score at half-time to see how far they were down, and they had no answers to that yesterday. Hopefully they put it down as just one of those games, but there's been a lot of those games in North Melbourne's history, so it's a sad day.
I ask if you're on the right track, Brownie, because the 4 wins they've had have come against teams currently sitting 14th, 15th, 17th and 18th.
Yep.
And the team sitting 16th was the one they somehow lost to in West Coast Eagles. That's the only wins and near wins they've had.
Yep. Sometimes we see things and then we see what happened yesterday and you start to doubt, and I'd imagine maybe the players start to doubt after what happened yesterday. And the big thing at that football club now is to try and erase that and get back to what what they were doing 2 weeks ago and competitive, because they didn't compete yesterday in that second term.
Sorry, Brandon. Can I ask you, Dama, could they be... They've been a bottom 2 club for how long? For 5
years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Can they just be a bottom 6 club this year? Could that be good enough to then next year build up again? You know what I mean?
There's no guarantee, though, of getting off the bottom reaches, Lordo, into the middle tier, outside the 8 as well.
I know there's no guarantee, but I just think that's what I can see a little bit too. I know they got that yesterday was terrible. They were smashed yesterday, but the improvement may be that bottom 2 to bottom 6 to then potentially make top 10.
Well, nothing's going to happen unless they get a backline of note, because that's not working at all.
All right, they've got the Gold Coast Suns next week, so there's another big test for them. We saw the Gold Coast Suns in action this week too, didn't we?
We did, and we saw post-match Damian Hardwick talking about the need to promote the game in Darwin against his need to coach wins of footy. It's an interesting debate, this one.
What I do know is we're charged with the responsibility of growing the game in South East Queensland. We've also got a responsibility to grow the game up here, and it's a fantastic ground and experience for our players. We'd also love to have some more home games in Queensland as well. So we've got a reasonable injury toll coming out of the 2 weeks up here. So we've got some sore lads. So we're going to go back and recover.
So that win against Port Adelaide last night, TJ, was the now 10th consecutive win the Gold Coast Suns over 5 seasons have had at the Darwin Oval. The story, though, gets interesting when they return to Queensland and then play the next block of 4 matches. Now, at that 2023 season, Damian Hardwick wasn't coaching the Gold Coast Suns, but he's experienced it in 2024 and 2025, where they lose 3 of their next 4 matches out of what's happened on the 2-week stint that they've been having in Darwin. I think this is why this club is trying to remove itself from this 2-week block of matches annually in the Darwin venue.
SCG on Friday night, Collingwood headed north. Mission impossible in the eyes of many people, but boy, I tell you what, undermanned, but they gave it a red-hot crack, didn't they?
They showed the competition, TJ, how you must play Sydney, and it starts with the corridor. You must protect the corridor at all costs, and they were all over this. Some of their senior players, obviously that side bottom there, he was all over. Just cover the corridor. We know they want to go through there. Here's Chris coming into the corridor, playing that sort of Pendlebury-style role. That's Angry Anderson. He knows he's got to just hold the corridor. He's on no one, but filling that space is huge, and what happens when you hold corridor and you turn it over in your front half is you can go back at them. The other part you've got to do if you hold your numbers corridor, you've got to force them wide to the boundary. And how many times do we see this play normally go through the middle? But you got pressing up. Here comes Billy Frampton pressing up. Like, you must press the game once you force a team wide. Again, this is better. You've got to press up and man on the mark. Again, can we get to that next one? Put some heat on. Stop these forward handballs. Come up in your face. Stick your tackles. If you stick those tackles, you can go back against the Sydney Swans.
We interviewed Callum Mills after the game. He said we were rattled. Collingwood, he said we had players out wide. They just left us. All they cared about was owning the corridor. He said normally they get pulled out and players will get dragged out to the Swans extras. He said Collingwood refused. They just stopped the corridor, and we haven't come up against a defence like that all year.
Damo's going to address it later in agenda, but would have they won with Scott Pendlebury?
Would they have won with Scott Pendlebury? Maybe, yeah, maybe they would have, TJ. But where are they going to finish at the end of this year? I would say they're a 7 to 10 side. I've been saying it all year.
What are you saying? Wave the white flag after 9 weeks?
I'm saying celebrate at the MCG, not at the SCG, because it's never going to be done again.
I think the only reason they lost in the end was Oscar Steen went down with his knee. And that was a huge loss when Brodie Grundy tore the game apart.
And unfortunately, Rory, they've got confirmation through scans that knee injury will keep him out for the rest of the year. It's been a really good story inside the Collingwood Footy Club this year. The fact that Oscar Steen had taken 3 years to get a game of footy, the impact he'd had in a short period of time before he went down in this game in round 10 of his first season of playing AFL football, out for 12 months with a reconstruction requirement.
It's heartbreaking for him, that's for sure. Just when he was sort of... well, I mean, he'll come back bigger and better, but it's a long recovery process, isn't it? What about Geelong? They just blow you away, don't they?
They do, and it's their forward line I love. And James Rowley's he has massive impact on that forward line. I want to show you a couple of clips on how they played Harris Andrews, all right? So they love to get separation. They never want to get in each other's way, the Geelong forwards. So that was Harris Andrews coming up high up the ground, and there's his opponent there. But what Henry also did as well was, we're going to go behind the goals here. He kept Harris away from these marking contests, just locking him out so he couldn't come across and intercept mark or spoil that out of bounds. And what happens when you keep a good player out of the game, even he can have a poor night. He drops that one, and They go to kick a goal, but Geelong's forwards are so smart. You'll never see them coming in like 2v2 or trying to cross over or running into each other.
They plan well, don't they,
separation.
Geelong? I think they're the best planned side going into a game. I think we saw Collingwood plan really well against Sydney, but Geelong do it week in, week out with a plan, and their players are able to execute that plan brilliantly.
Yeah, Jasper Fletcher probably had his worst night of AFL football, and it started from the first. He just wasn't close enough on Brad Close. You see Jasper Fletcher, Close is his man. You got to keep touch. He got caught ball watching a fair bit, so that was on Brad Close. Then his matchup became Sean Manor, Sean Manor has been one of the stories of the season so far. And this is just one where who wants the ball more out of Fletcher and Manor? And it's a freak goal, but if you can hold it in tight, that doesn't happen. The next one, so there's Fletcher and Manor. Like, how desperate is he? So he gets drawn to the ball. That's what good young players do. They get drawn to the ball. They haven't been used to defending for a lot of their junior career. And then the next centre bounce after that goal, the ball goes in. They were too tough, they were too strong, 66 entries, so it's time to defend hard. He's in a great position, but he didn't want to see it through all night, Jasper Fletcher, so just lets him get goal side. Suddenly he's scrambling and another goal kick, so real wake-up call for the Brisbane Lions and Fletcher the other night.
Do you think a lot of backs now across the competition are playing that way, not putting enough body on? Like we saw Tolstrup before, putting some body on, but too many times good players are left just to run free.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rory, and I think a lot of good junior footballers haven't learned how to defend hard enough.
All right, don't forget, coming up later in the show, Harry Dean's going to be joining us live. Also, Kate Chandler is going to be joining us live, and the handball, of course,
Clinton Young.
Yep, and up against Dyson Heppel, so stick around for that.
How are you feeling?
Well,
this is going to be good.
Given the way you just destroyed me just before, I'm a little on the nervous side, but I think you'll find this interesting. Roll the opener for what caught my eye as Matthew Lloyd takes his seat. Now, I did notice on the shelves at JB Hi-Fi and other good stores that have video games that the new AFL 26 PlayStation game is out recently, and it's also got legends. You can see the likes of Nathan Buckley, Sammy Mitchell's in there, Matthew Pavlich. I think you'll see Chris Judd's there, obviously. Rory Sloane is in there, right? If we turn the page again, Matthew, you were in there. You might have been on the page before, but Nathan, you weren't there. So we thought, OK, well, obviously you're not a legend, but we thought we'll make you one. So we've included you in the AFL 26. Now, you've got a few wrinkles there, so this is obviously pre-Botox. And I thought, no, that's great. So we've got Rory, we've got Lordo, we've got Nathan.
Who have we got, TJ?
We need Damo, right? So we also put Damo in there. And Damo, you're looking the goods, I've got to say there. You've got the Sunday Footy Show jumper on. We've probably been a little generous with your hairline, but and there you are, and you're all set to go. And I thought, well, OK, well, that's great. I mean, you four are there. So they called me in, sat me down, and here we are. You can see the 32 cameras around there, this huge rig, not mine, but the cameras. And then they actually put you in the computer. They do all the rendering and everything else. And then after a while, and this is all thanks to Ross Simons and his team there, who do a wonderful job, after a while, you're all set to go. So there's me in all my glory, and like Damo, they've been a little generous with my body and certainly around the chin region there. So without further ado, having been pretty happy with the results, we thought, how would it go? How would it actually go? So here we go, the Sunday Footy Show team in action on AFL 26.
Tony Jones making his debut today and already taking the coin toss. It looks like he's picked the coin up, which is a first. After being number 2 for 40 years, TJ is the undisputed number 1 up forward. Oh, look at him stride past Lordo. And he's telling Nath to get out. He goes straight to the goal square to line up against Damo. Barrett with his back to the wall, like with Bevo at the Brownlow. Ranger Rory takes the first ruck contest. Barty wins it down to Isaac Smith, who wheels onto the left. Matthew Lloyd presents a lead, which is ignored. Spots up Nathan Brown, who sends a mediocre kick to the top of the goal square. Chompers! A massive hang from TJ over Damo. It's Warwick Kappa all over again. Let's have another look at that. Oh, what a fly from Chomp, taking that with 2 hands, like a meal deal. No way was he letting that get past. And TJ nails the goal. Oh, and doesn't he let Damo know about it? Another one added to the first kick, first goal club.
Isn't that fantastic? That's all thanks to Ross Simons and the team down there. And so that's AFL 26. Now,
You feel good to see yourself good at sport there.
yeah. How did you feel about being
didn't like it.
No,
Didn't like it.
being completely overlooked?
There was an opportunity when you bent down on one knee to pick up that coin just to do the Dawn Fraser knee drop. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, no. Ross and the team have looked after me there. But as I say, it's available at JB Hi-Fi and EB Games. Now, starting tomorrow also, you can pick up this. This is the exclusive card. This is the footy card that they've actually made there. Now, you can see the key stats there. A key forward, obviously I am. My offence is a strength. Handball, not that great. So that's probably a fairly accurate representation. But I'm not giving myself away, and this is the competition that starts as of tomorrow, as of now, as a matter of fact. If you want me to be on your team, then you go to the Chomp Squad on Pro Team mode. That's available for 1 week only, and here's the stacked lineup for you if you want to unlock your very own TJ with all those great stats. So there's the team there. I don't think we found a spot for you there, Damo.
You're at full forward, I see. Too.
Yeah, well, I'm a key forward, mate.
Yeah.
You saw that.
I did.
Well, you didn't, actually, because your face was almost planted in the ground when I took the specky over.
I'll get Jude to test run that. I reckon he'll like that.
You like that? All right, then. So there you go. So that's you can pick it up, JB Hi-Fi, EB Games. It is AFL 26.
Chomp Squad, I like it.
Chomp Squad. Well, you can actually play that, so let me know how Jude goes with it. All right, good stuff. And we'll go to the break and just relive that mark of the year.
Chompers! A massive hang from TJ over Damo. Oh, what a fly from Chomp. And TJ nails the goal.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Harry Dean to be joining us in just a moment. And why? Because the Blues are up and about this morning. Carlton supporters rejoice. There is a pulse. It came at the expense of the Western Bulldogs. Rory, take us through the stats that matter.
Well, I thought Carlton were enormous, and they really restricted, I reckon, Western Bulldogs' ball movement off half-back. They stopped their run and carry, they stopped their use of hands and pressured it, but Lord, they also took over about 120 marks. They really possessed the ball in that first half before unleashing with a bit quicker ball movement in that last quarter.
All right, Harry Dean joins us now. You there, Harry?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's for some of the older viewers, of course. They're back in the Tommy Laeth days. Harry, congratulations. You've got the panel here. Nathan Brown, you've got Matthew Lloyd, you've got Rory Sloane, and, of course, Damo as well. Congratulations. How's it feel to wake up this morning with 4 points under your belt?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Haven't had a win in a while, so to get that win last night, yeah, it felt pretty special.
Harry, can you take us? I know you're only a young player and you haven't been around like Patrick Cripps type, who's seen it all before him and a number of different coaches. But how did you cope personally with the week of Michael Voss resigning and Josh Fraser stepping in?
Yeah, no, it was a new experience to me. I've never had a coach leave. Yeah, no, I love Vossi as a person. He's an absolute great coach and a great person. But yeah, no, I just thought it was a little bit weird. Like I was just thinking he's gone, which is a bit sad. But yeah, no, Josh Fraser stepped up and we just took training the next day after that. Pretty simple and nothing different. So yeah, no, it hasn't been too affecting on me, but. Yeah, no, a little bit sad to see Vossi go. So
a lot of Carlton fans will ask the question, like, the week after a coach changes and you win a game of football and you ran out the last quarter really well. Can you describe how the environment shifted with Voss resigning, and also if Josh Fraser demanded anything different for you guys from a game strategy perspective? Yeah, I just thought it was a bit more defensive based. Yeah, we just thought to ourselves that we're going to play more defensively. And
you there, Harry?
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, go on, Harry. Keep going, mate.
Yeah, no, I thought Fraser just kept it pretty simple. It was the same as Vossi. But yeah, just through the work, through the week, we just worked on a bit more little defensive stuff, and we were just talking, we're going to have to play 120 minutes, and I just thought, yeah, we played very well 120 minutes.
You did play very well, and it was the end of the game, which I loved as well. And there's a couple of leaders which stood out after Jack Ison kicked his goal. And if we've got the footage, I saw Paddy Cripps come in. I reckon big Harry Mackay came in and grabbed the forwards. Did Jacob Wiedering grab you guys and make sure you were really calm at the end of the game?
Yeah, no, he's pretty good for our back line. Him and Nick Newman are probably the older heads and the leaders in that group, and they control us each time, especially Nick Haynes as well, and have that support. It's pretty cool, and every time we get together, we stay pretty cool and connected, so it's good.
Watching some highlights of young Jack Ison at the moment. He kicked a really big goal in the last quarter. It's your debut season. It was his debut last night. What can you tell us about him? Because I thought with the ball in hand for most of the night, he was very calm.
Yeah, no, just smooth mover, Jack. He can use it very well. We're playing against him in the Vic Metro game, and just his ability to find people and have time with the ball, it's pretty good. But he had a great game last night. Really needed that from him. So, hopefully he can do it again next week. I reckon he will.
Harry, obviously your debut season, you just look and give me the impression anyway that you're old school in your desire to win every single contest, and you wear your heart on your sleeve, at least the way I view you, to this short stage of your career. How hard has it been coming into the senior team with the losses that were mounting prior to last night, and also the amount of ball coming into your part of the ground? But it does seem to matter to you, each contest.
Yeah, no, I've just based that on my football my entire life, to just have a crack and not lose my contests. Some people have said I'm a bit black and white and a bit basic, but no, that's just how I play my game. I play my role, play for my teammates, and I get a bit stiff if I lose a one-on-one contest. So I just hate losing.
At what age, Harry, were you inside the Carlton Football Club building towards this? Your first season, they have had you in since 15 or 16, developing you. I know you had a dominant year last year for Vic Country in the championships, but talk us through when this journey started for you with your Blues, because your father was a champion, of course, Peter Dean.
Yeah, the academy's been huge for me. I couldn't get down as much because I was from Albury-Wodonga, and I had school and other football commitments. So when I could get down there, it was pretty special, especially with the facilities, the coaches, and also training with other blokes like Jack Ison as well. So probably last year was probably big for me. I was probably in the club probably for about, I reckon, 2 months in total that whole year, and just to have that, it's pretty special. And
you had to play throughout the pre-season on Harry Mackay. His game, I thought, was back to his best the last couple of weeks. How tough an opponent is he to play on?
Yeah, no, when I first got to the club, I didn't realise how big he was. But, the last 2 games, he's shown how good of a player he is. And, I just think every time at training, trying to get the big fella sometimes. The last couple of weeks has been good for him.
Harry, I know you only take it 1 week at a time, but can't help but look ahead to a couple of weeks' time when your next home game, and against Geelong, which is going to be another big test for you. But it's also a poignant game, isn't it, for the Carlton Football Club, because it is your respects game.
Yeah, no, it'd be pretty special to play in that game. I just especially last night in Sir Doug Nicholas round, I love the play, and especially Anzac as well, day. So just to play in special rounds like that, it just means a lot, especially to put on the jersey and show for the cause and respect to the game.
Harry, you've been a shining light for the Blues. It's been a rough start for the Blues, but you've been a shining light. And the votes last night, Patrick Cripps, he was the clear best player. He gets a 9. Matty Carroll is really improving as well. He gets 3. Florent's got his best game for his new club, and Bailey Dale was the Dogs' best.
You don't leave empty-handed. This is all coming your way. We'll make sure we get it there. Family pass to Victoria's wildest theme park, Gumbaya World, with thrill rides, water slides, and wildlife experiences all in one. Just look out for the quackers, because my kid got bitten. A Hit Fit membership, combined body weight and boxing for a full body workout. Travis Matthew apparel, made to meet the moment. Look and feel your best. A box of Chrome Tour golf balls, umbrella, good for today. Golf towel and a cap, thanks to Callaway. Bar Fridges Australia are back for all your beer and wine cooling needs. Bar Fridges Australia. A pair of Aquila's premium quality footwear since 1958. And a pair of Rick's eyewear that inspires confidence. And TJ loves a free meal, so we'll give you one too.
Yeah.
At Platform 28, the best pub in the Docklands. And elevate your wardrobe with the latest streetwear style from St. Goliath. And 2 pairs of hybrid undies from the Better Collection. They've sewn elastic into the groin for maximum support and chafe. And if you're watching at home, your first pair's half price. That's all coming your way, Harry. And I was lucky enough in 1995 to go into the rooms when Carlton won the premiership as a 15-year-old, I think I was, 16, and Guess who allowed me to drink out of the Premiership Cup?
Not Dad.
Your dad. I'll remember it forever.
Was that after he fell off the podium?
That was after him. That was 87, maybe.
Oh, was it? Good story, Nate. Hey, what's on for the rest of the day, Harry?
Yeah, just pretty cruisy today. Might go in the club and do some recovery, but one of my mates from home in Albury is playing football for his uni, so I might go watch him, but just pretty cruisy today.
All right, OK. You're a pretty chilled sort of a bloke, aren't you, Harry?
Some say.
Good on you, mate. Thanks very much. Good to see you smiling, as all Carlton supporters are. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too, Harry Dean joining us there. And great for people like... I mean, when he said that, you know, he was sick of losing, isn't that a great
He's a good player.
Yeah, a good player. And the future.
What Damo said, spot on. Like, he gets in that many scraps and fights because he's a clear winner.
Cares.
Competitor. He cares so much. He's a great competitor, yeah.
All right, the big names keep coming on the Sunday Footy Show. Stay with us. The big names keep coming on players, and that, of course, is on tomorrow night. You've got Massimo D'Ambrosio, Joel Frazier, and also Josh Weddle on the show tomorrow night with Felix. And you can catch that, obviously, on YouTube. You can catch it on 9 Now, and you can catch it straight after Footy Classified, not to be missed. If you haven't caught up with players yet, you don't know what you're missing out on. And as I say, the big names are always there, giving you a sort of a behind-the-scenes look at their life as an AFL footballer. All right, let's take a look at the Demons now. Melbourne fans have been hanging out for this one. They're equal third on the ladder at the moment. And as you would have said at the start of the season, who would have thought?
They're impressive, aren't they? The biggest thing I noticed from this stats board is no Cozzy Pickett. And that's one of the most pleasing wins I think they've had this year because they're not reliant on any one person. They play such team footy, and one of the guys who is having a breakout season is Cade Chandler, and he's joining us today on the Footy Show. Cade, welcome to the Footy Show, mate.
Thanks, guys. Good morning. Good to see you all again.
Hey, thank you. And, mate, quickly, if you thought back to the start of the season and where you could possibly get to, did you think you guys would be 6-0 under Stephen King and just beating Hawthorn on the weekend? At the MCG, sorry.
Yeah. Look, I mean, externally we had a lot of people against us and a lot of people obviously wrote us off, but internally we always had a lot of belief. Now, to be tied third on the ladder at this stage in the season, you could probably say we've exceeded expectations a little bit, but we've always had belief. And from day one, Kingy was, you know, pretty set on the direction that he wanted to head in, and that was to play finals footy. And we got that feel during pre-season, and obviously we've really started to hit our straps.
What's been the biggest shift with Goody's coaching and Stephen King's coaching that you feel that's giving you this 7-3 start?
Well, it's probably not just one thing. I think Kingy's definitely allowing us to play a more attacking brand of footy, and I sort of feel like that's the way the game's heading. Handball meters is a massive correlation at the moment. So, I think we're sort of trending with the way that the game's trending as well. And, but I think it's sort of built off the back of our defence, to be honest. We work hard defensively, and that allows us to play with freedom on the offensive side of the game.
Tell us a bit more about Stephen King. So just looks, it's a great human, just very genuine person, but is he also someone that can put the fear of God into players? Like if they do the wrong thing by him, like what's he like as a coach behind the scenes?
Well, we haven't really seen that side of him just yet, which has been nice. But like you said, he's just such a genuine person. He's so easy to have a chat to. I feel like all the boys could go to him with anything. He said to us the other day that, you're a father first before a footballer. So for the guys that have kids, if you have a sort of shocking morning and you're going to be half an hour late or something like that, just pick up the phone and tell him. Just little things like that. He's been fantastic with, as all of our coaches have. But yeah, he's just such a genuine bloke, and he has an invested interest in your life and your family as well, which is one of the things that I've been most impressed with.
I'll tell you, from a media point of view, he doesn't talk in cliches. He just speaks normally, doesn't it? And clearly, that's the line of communication with the players as well.
With Disco Turner... Yeah. Sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say, absolutely, you're spot on, TJ. He's just so authentic, and he calls it how it is, and it's been unbelievable because in the feedback scenario with us players as well, it's the same. He just calls it as it is, and I feel like it just holds us in such good stead when you have the relationship with a coach like that.
With Disco Turner going to defence, Brody Myercheck being out, you've needed someone to fill the void, and Matthew Jefferson's been outstanding. He kicked 2 goals too yesterday. 9 score involvements, the most of any Demon yesterday. He certainly filled the void.
Yeah, he's building a good case, Jeffo. He was probably a little bit disappointed with his game last week, but I thought the way he responded yesterday was just fantastic. He's got some of the best hands I've seen, and I'm just so happy he got his opportunity yesterday. He was so influential for us, and I'm just proud for him to have such a good game. So early in his career. I think he's in his 3rd year, but that might have only been his 14th or 15th game. So to perform the way he did in front of such a big crowd on a big occasion, I'm just so rapt for him.
Kay, the exits of both Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver obviously happened in last year's trade period, and I know that no one at Melbourne wishes anything but the best for them at their new clubs, but I raise it just in the changing of the dynamic within the operations of your team. How have you found that, and how have you seen others around you develop their own ways without those 2 guys in the dressing room?
Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on, Damo. Like, we absolutely love Clary and Track, and we wish them all the best at their new clubs. But what it has done is opened up opportunity for younger guys on our list, guys like Caleb Windsor, Harvey Langford, to come in and sort of have a little bit more exposure inside and around the ball. You see the development of Tom Sparrow. Like, he's having an unbelievable year, and he's been exposed to that opportunity, and he's paying back, massive dividends. So it's been fantastic for our younger guys. They've really stepped up. Obviously, filling the void of 2 of the greatest Melbourne footballers of all time is no, mean feat. But they've just come in. All our young guys are stepping up, and it's fantastic to see.
One of those guys stepping up in the midfield every now and then is yourself, mate. You're having a career best year under Stephen King. You've enjoyed the evolution of your game by playing a bit more midfield and forward.
Yeah, certainly. It's been good to have a little bit of midfield exposure, just to give a different look every now and then. I feel like it's trying to mix up their midfield mix because it just changes the dynamic. So, for me, it's good because I played most of my junior footy, and to get back in there has been good. But to be honest, I'm just happy to play wherever the team. That's mid, forward, wherever. I really don't mind. The only metric I'm interested in is wins and losses, and we're doing well at the moment in that department.
You've definitely been a no-fuss footy club this year with your game style, so a lot more kicks and a lot more deeper entries. And I thought yesterday the plan seemed to be, let's test out Hawthorn without Barris. And did you feel yesterday that they weren't dealing with the high balls going in, and every time it seemed like you were a chance of kicking goals?
Well, we know how good Tom Barris is, and I feel like he's such an important player for them. So we knew that, him not playing was probably for our big boy. That was part of the messaging. Get it in quick and get it into the big boys. Let them go to work. As I touched on before, guys like Jeffo and Rui were able to have great games off the back of that.
I can see a cot over your right-hand shoulder there, Kate. So, I can see the cot there. So, obviously, the Bubs isn't asleep. He's up and about. But talk us through the routine, how it's changed for you as a footballer now being a father.
Yeah, it's changed. Routine sort of goes out the window. I learnt that in COVID times. You just got to be fluid in your prep because you just never know what a 10-week-old baby's going to dish up. But he's been fantastic, and his mum, my fiancée Amy, is just an absolute weapon. She looks after him and takes the load off me a couple nights before a game and allows me to prepare the way I'm supposed to. So wouldn't be able to do it without her, that's for sure.
Now, Cade, we've regaled you here with highlights from yesterday at the MCG, but in the ad break, I don't want to give too much away, you were regaling us with what you thought is the best highlight you've seen in some time, and this was me taking that hanger over Damian Barrett.
Yeah, I was sitting down having my toast on the couch before, and I thought, was that Tony Jones getting 10 in the air? It was pretty good, mate. I was very impressed.
Well, if you want me to come down on the bag at Amy Park, more than happy to do that and give you guys some lessons.
Yeah, no, we'd love to have you down. I'm sure the boys would get a real kick out of that. It'd be great.
Oh, very good. We'll get to votes, we'll get to the votes for sure. So we've got Max Gawn, I thought was enormous again. He's in ripping form. Sparrow gets my 8. Dylan Moore gets 8 as well. And Harrison Petty, I thought, competed really well up forward and deserved to slip in the votes as well.
So we've already been through the prize pack, but we're just going to put it up on the screen. So here it is. All those prizes are coming your way, Cade. So there's plenty there. Gumbaya World, St. Goliath, just to name a few. The Aquilas, so all coming your way.
I probably wouldn't take the baby to see the quackers just yet, Cade. Would that be the advice?
Yeah, that would be the advice.
Yeah, all right. Good on you, mate. Continue to...
Well, on the back burner for a couple of years, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been great to catch up with you again. You're always welcome on the show. And I know you've got a big match coming up next week. And then, of course, I think the week after is King's birthday, is it not? Which is going to be absolutely epic for a whole range of reasons, Kate.
Yeah, for sure. What a great game to be a part of, and everyone's looking forward to that one. We always have a good fight against Collingwood and obviously a fantastic cause. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that one. It's one you pencil in the calendar early in the year.
Good on you, mate. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Anytime at all. Kate Chandler joining us there. And Melbourne, just a really good story, aren't they?
What a great person he is.
Nice guy too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Been on here a couple of times.
We actually haven't had a bad person on, have we? Like, you know.
Permanently or?
Yeah, well, any name names?
How are you and Mason going?
Mason Cox?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw he was bobbing up again over the weekend. Did he have a crack at people for having a crack at Pendlebury or something? It's like, oh, Mason. Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, it is Lordo's Deep Dive. Stick around.
For the deep dive this morning, we're taking a look at the 2013 qualifying final. Geelong do not lose at GMHBA, or Simmons Stadium as it was called back in that day. But Fremantle Dockers under Ross Lyon were on a mission, and they weren't overly happy, I don't think, behind the scenes that the game wasn't at the MCG. It was billed because it was a lower ranked side in Fremantle, a lower profile side in Fremantle. So they went to Simmons Stadium, and here's Ross Lyon speaking about it during the week.
There's a lot of questions being thrown about Simmons and blah, 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 but, you know, we're going to ask some serious questions of the Geelong Football Club. Well, we've measured it out. It's the narrowest ground in Australia, 115 metres, and I think it's 170 metres long. So that's its dimensions. It's got, you know, a couple of goal posts, a couple of point posts, and white marked boundaries. I haven't seen the ground get a kick yet, so I haven't seen the crowd get a kick yet, so we're going down to play a game of footy.
Damo, he does that as well as anyone. He sold the game hard to his Fremantle players, and there was a bit of controversy at selection for Geelong as well.
Well, it was, Lordo, because game number 250 was being played by Paul Chapman, one of the Cats greats in that premiership-winning era. But he made a bit of a statement himself by being made the sub in this game to wear that green sub vest to take the coin toss with Matty Pavlich there pre-match. And Lordo, it ended up being his second last game for the Cats, Paul Chapman. He only played one more game after that before then going on to play 29 games at Essendon in the 2 seasons after it. But, yeah, strange decision to make him sub in that game.
And Rory, the ruck dominance was there for Fremantle in this game.
Well, it's the reason they won this game, because clearances, I think, in this game were something like 22 to 43, and they had big Aaron Sandilands, the best ruckman, I think, in this era, one of the most hardest ruckmen to stop. But people forget, like, Freo's midfield, like, you had David Mundy, Ryan Crowley, one of the best taggers in the game. You had Nat Fyfe, Brownlow medalist, Lockie Neal's also there.
Michael Barlow.
And Mickey Barlow, who kicked 3 and had 30 in the game. And you could go third man up back then, so that's Big Sandy coming over the top of Zach Clark. But their dominance was enormous in this game around clearances, and it's tough to kick the ball from that high up, Damo. It's a long ball drop down to Sandy's foot, and he was enormous.
I was fortunate enough to be commentating this game down there at this game, and it was just Fremantle were sensational. And we're going to talk about Stephen Hill later on, but Mickey Barlow, who you just touched on, had to do it the hard way. And I heard Hurdy and Durham and that talking on Footy Classified only a few weeks ago about the opportunities and how many players at VFL level or Sandful or Waffle are good enough to go on and play. And Mickey Barlow just was overlooked time and time and time again. And he was one of the best accumulators in the game for a period of time. So 32 disposals, 18 contested possessions, 5 clearances, and a career-high 3 goals he kicked in a big final day.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? But the big highlight of the day was Stephen Hill. Have a look at this majestic running goal. So the ball deep in the back pocket. There you go, Sandlands does well. And then Stephen Hill, that's one bounce off the 2. They're not going to catch him. He just has to make the right decision now. So 3 bounces, has the 4th bounce, now starts to slow down. Most importantly, when you're on the run, he slowed down beautifully, and that was an absolute ripper.
Well, brilliant goal.
Amazing stuff. One of the great matchups, Stevie J and Ryan Crowley. You mentioned Ryan Crowley before being one of the great taggers, and he was the player that a lot of opposition supporters love to hate, and maybe Stevie J as well in many ways. This was them at the start of the game. Stevie J responded by kicking 2 goals in the first 2 minutes to really set the scene. Are we going to see any of the goals, or we just see this?
Oh, this is good.
The niggles are what we want to see.
He loved punching on Stevie J.
And the little Hayden Ballantyne coming in to help out Ryan Crowley. Not that he probably needed any help there.
They did. They got a lot of team help for Ryan Crowley. Whoever he was going, it was a full team tag. So it wasn't just on him. They really looked after him. And he's Joel having a few words.
I mean, the theatre's great, and so was the football. So Ryan Crowley, as I said, he copped a fair bit of stick over the fence. He copped a fair bit of stick on the field, and quite clearly sort of gave as good as he got.
And TJ, because of what you're talking about, it was on for young and old, the physicality in that game. And Shane McInnes, who's with 3AW, went to the press conference and he put to Ross Lyon that there was a lot of Geelong players going down off the ball, and Ross Lyon didn't like that.
Ross, we saw a number of players go down off the ball. Was there a message before the game that you wanted your players to be physical at all times? Or was that...
Well, I'm not sure what you're alluding to. Are you talking about Dockers players or Geelong players?
Geelong players. We saw a few Geelong
Well, I think you're out of line because what I saw some Dockers players go down off the ball.
I'm sure they were as well. But did you have a message to your players in particular?
What do you think?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the coach.
Well, I just think it's a silly question. We play within the rules. Yeah. What's your name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Shane.
Shane who?
McInnes.
Okay, that's the best question you can come up with after 2 hours of footy. You're quite brilliant, Shane. Yeah, terrific. To then focus on them is really disappointing in the context. Hang on, in the context of the effort we've delivered. That's why the disappointment. I'm still in a bit of shock at the garbage that was thrown up. It's beyond belief that we can play 2 hours, put on a great performance, and you put up with that garbage.
So it was on for young and old after the game as well, TJ.
There was nothing wrong with the question.
Nothing wrong.
There was nothing wrong with the question at all.
So a great win. They then beat the Sydney Swans in a prelim, but then went down to Hawthorn by 15 points.
And they were inaccurate in the first half, Lord.
They were.
Only lost by 15 points in the end, but that was that first half of inaccuracy was costing.
It was Jack Gunston back then who kicked 4 goals in that grand final, still doing.
Been around for a while.
He has been.
Terrific stuff, mate. Lordo's Deep Dive will be back, of course, next week. I won't be. Are you going to...
No, you're off to Brisbane. What are you up to up there?
No, you don't have to say where I'm going. Right?
Okay, well...
But I'm off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll give you the keys. Don't stuff it up, Nathan, all right?
You've given me the keys many times and I haven't stuffed it up yet.
Anyone remember Future Stars? All right, we'll take a break.
That was Boomer's fault.
Don't. Tough week for Boomer coming up. All right,
2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
He'd be filthy. I love you, Boomer. You're a good man.
All righty, don't forget Mediocre still to come.
It is.
Who are you lining up this week?
Everybody and anybody.
Right, OK, then. In other words, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I have.
Yeah, all right. And also the quiz. Stick around, you are watching the Sunday Footy Show.
Good evening and welcome everyone to Footy Classified.
Footy's best insights every time. Monday on 9 and 9 now.
The big shows keep coming here on 9. Of course, Footy Furnace never fails to deliver. A bit like Triple J this show. You've got James, you've got Jimmy and you've got Jules. And you can catch it on all good platforms, be it 9 Now, be it on YouTube, Sunday night and Wednesday afternoons. Catch it in many ways, setting the agenda for football midweek and on Sunday nights. Damo is here now with his own agenda.
We do, TJ, and we know that game number 433, AFL record game 433 for Scott Pendlebury, coming up this Saturday at the MCG against West Coast. Now, Pendlebury, as we know, has missed 2 of the past 3 matches for a draw against Hawthorn and a 1-kick loss against the Sydney Swans, after which his coach, Craig McRae, explained the rationale behind those restings.
Or do you want to celebrate the record for the most games in the history of the game here tonight, or would you rather do it next week at the MCG? That's a simple question, and I respectfully, when Pendles has played that many games, that we want to make sure that we celebrate him in the right manner. His body isn't as bulletproof as you think it is. 5 and 6 day breaks. All the data says that he's just getting to the line.
I don't know if it is a simple question, to be honest. Now, I'm a Collingwood supporter and I'm a supporter of Scott Pendlebury, but I'm also a supporter of the concept that you field your best possible team. Now, I don't begrudge Scott Pendlebury any celebration whatsoever, and it should be at the MCG, but the cards didn't necessarily fall that way. So I can understand people not understanding the rationale behind it, and Craig McRae gets very defensive about it, and I appreciate that, the passion and all the rest of it. I don't subscribe to the whole salary cap thing. I mean, if he's going to make some coin out of it, as obviously he will, well, all power to Scott Pendlebury. But all I know is, as a Collingwood supporter, we're sitting 10th on the ladder at the moment and in a very precarious position. to even make the 10 at this point.
We're not still, like, I get frustrated we're still talking about this because we're 1 week away from the greatest achievement in football, in our game. This is the greatest achievement that's ever happened, and we're still talking about whether he shouldn't be rested, what's he doing, making money. It's like, no, this should just be celebrated.
I understand that, but it's also an issue for Collingwood supporters in that we've played one game where it was a draw, another game where lost by a kick, and we didn't have the full team in there.
But I agree with Rory. Like, I think the first game he missed was a 5-day break, so he couldn't get up for it anyway. And the second one would be the dumbest decision ever to celebrate the greatest milestone in the history of the game at the SCG. So can't you just look at that and say, I understand why they haven't played it?
Well, I think I've made my position clear.
But do you think Collingwood will be top 4 this year?
No.
Yeah, so what? So then again,
what? You just give up, do you?
No, I think you do.
You give up on. Do you give up on the top?
What I'm saying is
the game this
whether
big.
he played or he didn't, it'll be the difference between whether they finish 7th or 8th.
Well, you don't know unless you have a crack.
But so you would have played him at the SCG then?
No, I'm not necessarily. Well, okay, yeah. To answer your question.
Yeah. Well, the week before he played and they lost by 50 points
all right.
against Geelong.
What would have Kevin Sheedy done?
Oh no, he was the biggest. Sheeds would play guys who are on 99 games to get them their hundredth. Because it might have helped them get a father-son or a Dean Riol. He was very much... Sheets wouldn't have played him at the SCG. No.
Yeah, OK. All right. Well, let's just set the record straight. I'm not anti-Scott Pendlebury. I'm not anti-celebrating the milestone. You ask, why are we talking about it? Well, it happens to be an issue, mate. OK?
Yeah,
so,
and
I get the boys' club. I get all that, right? But I'm also talking about, from a supporter's point of view, fielding the best possible team for the best possible result.
I'm not saying why we're talking about. I'm saying why don't we talk about the good that's happening, the achievement that's happening this week. We're 1 week away from the greatest achievement in our game.
And we will be. We will be.
Well, let's start talking about it now. Like, it's going to be a huge achievement. Well done, Scott Pendlebury. There should be 100,000 people there, all to celebrate you.
You're on this side of the fence now, so don't stick your head in the sand and just balk at issues because they're too difficult to talk about.
I'm happy to talk about it. I've just got a different opinion.
Good focus, good debate. And the focus on Scotty Pendlebury will be hot next week, as it will be for Graham Wright, who, as Chief Executive Officer of the Carlton Footy Club, is the man empowered now to find a replacement for Michael Voss permanently. Graham Wright there with Rob Priestley there. Also Travis Boak, some heavies there at the Carlton Footy Club. TJ, Graham Wright, I just go back to what he did in 2021 when he was at Collingwood in a senior position in the football department. He identified initially Sam Mitchell to take over from Nathan Buckley, having helped Nathan Buckley exit that club. And then upon Mitchell using that to leverage the senior position at Hawthorn Footy Club, he went and found Craig McRae. I raise this now, Lordo, Brownie and Rory, because I strongly feel Graham Wright will head down again the untried senior assistant coaching path, as opposed to the tried coaches in Ken Hinkley and Simon Goodwin and John Longmire and that type. That's my take on this, and I think people like Corey Enright, your mate Daniel Duran-Cusa, Brownie, will be a massive chance in that. People of that ilk who have done some hard yards at footy clubs in a senior coaching assistant capacity.
Do you think that Graham Wright already has a favourite in mind? I'm never going to go through a process, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't have who he wants already in mind, and that will play out.
It wouldn't surprise me if we were to learn that after the decision is made, but equally, I think what he did do when he found McRae was open his mind up totally once he couldn't get Sam Mitchell across to whoever's out there. So, yeah, I think he'll be open-minded, and I think it'll be very, very wide.
Would you support one of those first-time coaches with a senior assistant coach like a Ken Hinkley or John Longmire?
No, I'd let that person go in, like Craig McRae came into the Collingwood Footy Club.
All right, good work, Damo. We will take a break when we come back. Mediocre.
Mediocre is back. I'm looking forward to that. You and Rory okay?
Yeah, we're always okay.
It was a good chat.
It's called spirited debate.
Very good chat.
Good chat.
It's called spirited debate. That's
Very
all
good
it is. Okay, it doesn't have to be brawling all the time, Nathan.
No, it doesn't. It was good.
Strange little man. We'll take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. It's the Sunday Footy Show. The quiz, not too far. What's our theme for the quiz?
The quiz, Indigenous. So obviously
Sir Doug
Nicholls round this weekend and next weekend. So all the great players.
All right, that's coming up, as is Mediocre. Right now, though, let's take a look at the mauling of the Kangaroos yesterday.
The mauling was North Melbourne early. North Melbourne got away to a great start. I think they had the first 10 inside 50s and they kicked 3 goals to 1. But after that, it was 13 goals in a row. The Adelaide Football Club, Josh Rochelle kicked 3. Isaac Rankin through the midfield was very good again. Luke Parker got a fair bit of it. But it was all Adelaide. And the talk of the town was, can they score quickly? Can they score heavily? And they got back to that yesterday. Rochelli's lost his spot in the midfield to Rankin. Rankin was very good, but then Rochelli goes forward and kicks 3 goals as well, so they look good.
Who do you want to spend more time in there? I've got my thoughts, but I'm interested on yours.
I'd like them both to be in there. I think they've got to get to a point where they can trust them both in there. So Rankin's had a great couple of weeks. I thought they might tag him yesterday, but they didn't do that. But I'd love to see Rochelli spend just as much time in there, because I think he can go forward and get the job done and still kick 2 or 3 a week.
Well, they're both so damaging. They both don't miss. And where I've loved seeing the growth, I was at the game yesterday. I sat up nice and high behind the goals, and I watched, and some of the defensive efforts which Matty Nix has wanted to see from both of those players in particular were there. Like Isaac was chasing, he was spreading back hard to help out the defence. Like, it was as good a game as I've seen from Isaac defensively.
Yep.
And Josh is certainly buying in up forward, putting pressure on as well.
And Lordo, they left out Rolly Thilthorpe from that game. There's a chance now that he may rest for another week as well as they try to get his back right. I think this is a really smart decision from this club at this stage of the season.
Yeah, you don't mess with backs and someone so important, but disappointing. The second quarter, 10 goals to 0, Rory. So what did you see from the North side?
North's pressure dropped off, their contested work, which they've been so good at and which has kept them in a lot of games this year, that certainly fell away completely, which is no good.
Thursday night in Tassie, who goes in as favourite? It's against Hawthorn.
I'd say Adelaide. I've loved the improvement I've seen from guys like Toby Murray, and this is why Riley can miss another week. Like, Toby Murray's improvement, he's doubled in size almost since he first got in, and he's now looking like he can compete up forward. So
Hawks don't lose there very often, so I'll go Hawks.
All right,
votes. Isaac takes the cake with 10 clearances. He gets the 9 votes. Jordan Dawson, again, his goal on the boundary was enormous. I thought McAndrew's game against Tristan Cherry just shut him out very well, and Joshua Shelley can round it out with 8.
All righty, without further ado, here is the man, the myth, the mediocre.
James Brayshaw isn't afraid to fact-check calling games, even if it's on himself.
Isaac Heaney's got to get himself back out there as well, so...
Stay out.
You've got Heaney actually on the ground now, so they found a way to get him back out there, but there is Isaac Heaney. He was at the back of that shot we showed you before, so they have not got him on.
But sometimes the facts aren't that entertaining, as Matt Hill found out.
The fun fact, it's the 461st game in a row that Geelong have had a player named Tom play.
Love that.
I'd suggest there was a delay at the airport today when you were flying up. Matt, that sort of gold you're coming up with?
You've done well to hold on to it to the 4th quarter, Matty.
It's a slow week at the Hill House side if you come up with that one.
In TV, rundowns are important to follow.
Well, it is always a big game, Collingwood versus Geelong. What's that? Sorry? Ball thief. Sorry, Jordan. I've just jumped in front of you. Go ahead. That is an ugly from me.
But following them doesn't mean it always goes to plan.
Can we have a listen to what the coach said about the former captain? I think we're going to hear from Brad Scott.
We'll get to that in a little bit later on.
I am following the rundown, Craig. I'm doing the right thing.
Anyway, the point is when you make him stay...
News bulletins cover sport and hard news, but Channel 10 does both at the same time.
Back in camp with the Socceroos, Harry Sutar is welcoming competition for centre-back positions. A star from the last World Cup. Not sure this is quite the right vision. Was out for 460 days.
Tough week for Harry. Back to footy now, and tensions are brewing between former boundary rider David King and the current crop of ground level experts.
Where can it come from, Lynchy? Where do you see Brisbane finding or raising the stakes?
Signed off, Lynchy. Get back to still in shortly.
Nick Del Santo, we see Wiedering come to the bench. Just might have caught him off guard there.
It was Lynchy the other night.
Might be me, you reckon?
I know all too well the challenges of the English language. And now you've had this reconnaissance at...
Reconnaissance?
So my heart goes out to my man, Jake Clark.
But a big game, no doubt. So Fremantle versus Hawthorn, Kingy, a big game, no doubt. So Fremantle versus Hawthorn.
And that's media. Okay.
Boom Tish.
One of your best, Nathan.
Bit of fun. Bit of fun. We put ourselves in
I thought it was more humorous than acidic.
Yes. No, it's never acidic. It's always humorous.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Quiz is up next.
Here it is.
Welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Let's get straight into it. The quiz brought to you by Sportsbet. $250 on the line. Damo.
Yvonne Coletti today, Brownie, from Thornley in WA.
Riley Marshall from Mooloolaba.
Dave Moyes from Kangaroo Flat, Victoria.
And Lincoln Broon from Minlation in South Australia on the York Peninsula, the barley capital of the world.
Nice work, Tony. Celebration of Indigenous players. Question number 1. The most games played by...
Was that Burgoyne?
Correct, Lordo. You get 1 for that one.
Sorry, do we not have things?
Yes, they're working.
Yours works.
Most goals kicked by...
Still making hundreds and fifties.
Lance, oh, look at Lordo.
He's back.
Way to
Wake
fly.
up. Look at him.
Well done. Famous faces, this one. It's question number 3 for 2 points. 7 Indigenous players have won a Norm Smith.
Still making hundreds and fifties. Morris Rioli, Cyril Rioli, and then you've got Peter Matera. You have to keep going, Di.
Yeah, surely he doesn't have to do all 7.
He's going to say, but only one's 1, 2.
Just name 3 of them. Well done, Lordo. You get the famous faces.
Thank you.
I just want to see how many you get out.
McLeod by 2, yeah.
Go the Budmaster.
I'll go in the middle. Davey, is it?
David the Flash. Lordo's been even.
Wow.
All right.
Cut loose.
Question number 4. Who pioneered the Dreamtime?
Still making hundreds and fifties. Belong.
Incorrect. Kevin Sheedy is correct. Well done, Tony. Famous faces. For 1 point, Adam Goods was part of 3-way tie for the 2000.
Thanks, Chompers. Still making hundreds and fifties.
That is correct, Tony.
And
what?
Did you say 3-way tie? Sorry, it's all right.
Yeah. -1, Rory.
Okay.
He's on delay. I'm going to go Jamara, bottom left.
Jamara down the bottom left. You get a run on, Tone.
Do one of them.
So 30 seconds, and it starts now. In what year was Sir Doug Nicholls' round first established?
1999.
2007, -1. Sir Doug Nicholls played 54 games for what VFL club? Fitzroy is correct. Lance Franklin kicked his most famous 1,000th goal in what year?
22.
22 is correct, +1. Adam Goods, I'll give it to you, won 1 Brownlow in 2003 and another in?
3, 4, 5, 2006.
Well done, Tony. Okay, closest to the pin, everyone gets a go. Start with you, Damo. Peter Matera, goals for West Coast.
312.
298.
I'll go 250.
271.
217, so Lordo was the closest. Famous faces. In 2004 at the MCG, which Eagle soared very...
Still making hundreds and fifties.
Ashley Sampi is correct, Damo.
Let's go Walter. Sonny Walter, please.
At the top. You get the risk, Damo, so how many points do you want to risk? How many you got?
Can I risk more than I've got?
No, just as many as you got. So the risk question is, what number did Sean Burgoyne wear at Port Adelaide?
Ooh. Just take it off him now.
7.
He wore 8.
Oh.
Bad luck. What year did Surioli win his Norm Smith?
You're quite funny, Damo.
He won that in 2013.
Incorrect.
2008?
Incorrect. Answer was 2015. No one was going to get in. Liam Ryan won Mark of the Year. Whose head did he sit on?
Still making hundreds and fifties.
Oh, it certainly was Max Gawn.
I'll go Daniel Rioli down the bottom.
Daniel Rioli. Been in some good form. You can steal a point off somebody leading in to the Who Am I?
Well, I would have been insulted if
So Lordo's on 9. He can't be beaten. So
Can't be beaten.
I'm a premiership player and I was born on the 1st of October 1969. I'm also a Norm Smith medalist. I played 190 games for Essendon for 3 points.
Still making hundreds and fifties. Gab Wanganeen.
Incorrect. I'm a
Michael Long.
Michael Long is right, Tony, for 2 points. But Lordo, a sail away leader.
Did you hear me say that?
David Moyes, the Everton coach, is it? Either two, he's coaching.
David Moyes,
Kangaroo Flat.
Great to see Moyes. He's watching the show. Well done. $250 coming your way. Back to you, Tone.
All right, we'll take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Plenty to come. All right, time for primetime takeaways now.
Thanks, TJ. We're going to start with what a performance by Geelong and O'Sheen Mullen in particular, who just keeps taking scalps, Nathan. Is he the toughest man in football to play against?
Absolutely. So he's done Dacos and Lachie Neale, and what he's doing is he's creating a beast because he's getting off these players. This is the ultimate tagger when you start to get off the opposition. And have a look at him running here. Neale just can't keep up. This is what he's doing. He did it to Dacos as well. All of a sudden, he is a weapon going back the other way. They start next to each other here, but Lachie Neale just can't go with him. And when a a tagger does that, it is absolutely deflating to the opposition. The star player you're playing on, and he runs into an open goal. So all of a sudden, Geelong have a defensive weapon, which is now turning into an offensive weapon back the other way. He is hard to stop.
Great vision, Nathan. The Brisbane Lions aren't quite there. They were poor against Carlton the week before, and they followed that up with poor performance against Geelong. The next game, Sydney and Collingwood. I want to ask this question, right? Nick Blakey was second to Grundy in winning the medal. Has anyone ever put that tag into him? And I would go after... I'd send Mullen this week to Nick Blakey, but you don't agree with me?
I don't think so. No one's put the work in to answer your question. I don't think anyone as a team have done it. I think that's a really hard position to tag from. It can pull your forward line structure apart, but what they need to do, I'd have a team rule that would be like, Nick Blakey does not get a 2-possession chain. He can handball once, he can kick once, but he does not get that next ball, that 1, that 2 play, that 3 play. You must bumper bar him, you must body him, and you must press him hard and stop his run.
So the other option will be obviously Isaac Heaney that Mullen could go to, but I just think that Mullen has the explosive speed, Damo. He has the discipline, he has the endurance. There's not many others that could go with Nick Blakey.
Yeah, I just don't. I think he might get pulled apart a bit down back, like a bit of height difference. I think Blakey can.
Well, we've been seeing teams do it to Tom Stewart for a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, Geelong experienced that with Tom Stewart. They had to put him into the middle of the ground to get him through that period a couple of years ago, Lordo. So that could be the next phase and stage for Nick Blakey.
The Lou Richards leaderboard stands this way. Up at the top is Nick Dacos, Zach Butters, Marcus Bontempelli wouldn't have voted, Isaac Heaney, Wilkie, who's out at the moment, and Bailey Smith.
Alrighty, and of course, the brand new Hyundai Alexio EV is valued at $61,990 is what they're playing for. That's a drive-away price.
27-inch screen, Tony.
With an impressive 546 kilometre range and a fast charging from 10 to 80% in just 38 minutes. It also comes with a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, digital key 2, so you can lock and unlock the vehicle with your smartphone or your smartwatch, and a premium interior featuring a
27-inch screen in the Alexio EV.
Panoramic, if you don't mind. Dual wireless charging, vehicle-to-load capability and a heads-up driver display. A big thank you to James and the team at Essendon Hyundai for helping bring this prize to life. The race for the 2026 Hyundai Lou Richards medal is officially on. Hey, speaking of Lou Richards...
You looked at home in that car. You
They're
felt
good people out at
Hyundai.
Hyundai. Very good people. So you can go out there, have a look through the showroom. You can also go to Le Mans and do your shopping as well. There's so much to do out at Essendon Fields.
OK, enough of you angling for a new car. Speaking of Lou Richards, you coached against his grandson Jack yesterday.
Yes.
And he went all right.
Fantastic player. And they were too good for us, Brighton Grammar, and he's an outstanding player.
So would Jack be draft material?
I'm not sure where it sits, TJ, with that. I'm not across it well enough.
Haileybury's biggest learnings from the weekend?
They were too tough for us, too strong for us, and just got the jump on us in the second quarter,
Bring the mouth guards to training
stuff. It's a bit of that, we've got a great group, but we're just outplayed by a better side.
So how would you go with the analysis on you and the focus on you as a coach?
It's my first loss in about 3 years.
I think that answers the question. We'll take a break. You're watching the Sunday Footy Show. We've got previews and handball up next. All right, Jess is along now. Jess Webster with a look at today's matches.
G'day, TJ. We do have 3 games to close out the round today. And we're going to start at the MCG. Essendon taking on Fremantle, who are in sublime form at the moment. A couple of changes, though, to the Dockers. They have no Pearce, Young or Wagner due to injury, but they're absolutely flying 8 in a row. It's Wolfie time, Nath. They're going along beautifully. Do you think this is the year for the Dockers?
Well, they want for nothing at the moment, the Fremantle Dockers. So midfield, forward, defence, they have got everything. So it's just whether they can beat the very best when it comes to the end of the season, and the way they're playing, they'll finish 1 and 2, and they might have the home finals, which gets them to the MCG. Everything's going well for them at the moment, the forward half of the ground. So this is their year. This is it. If they're good enough, this is definitely their year.
And a big occasion too at the MCG today too.
Jess is calling.
Jess is calling, your first live game at the MCG alongside probably the best caller in the business.
Yeah, I'm calling with Hutto today. So it's my first TV game at the MCG, which would be a really cool moment, but definitely learning from the best today. So thank you. Looking forward to that one. Down the road at Marvel Stadium, St Kilda taking on Richmond. The Saints, they are without Nasiah Wanganeen, Miller, Lordo. Who's going to step up in his absence is the $1 million question.
Yeah, they're outside the top 10 at the moment, so it's a big game, both for just the 4 points and percentage. But in order, Jack Sinclair, he's the next best player after Wanganeen, Miller. So he's got to step up. Max Hall is a player that people have big raps on at St Kilda, so he'll go into the midfield. You'd think Darcy Wilson's a fantastic...
Big game last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, big game for him last week. Flanders, can he offer more? And Filippo's another one, Jess, who needs to step up.
And more changes to Richmond too. Yesterday in the VFL, they had 0 AFL-listed players against Box Hill yesterday. Only went down by a point, which was quite a gallant effort, but they had no AFL-listed players in the VFL. So definitely going through it at the moment are the Tigers. The final game over in the West, it is West Coast taking on GWS. So Rory, who are you putting under the pump this week?
And I've got the air compressor, it was about 90 kilos, so I just got it over my head. And I said, what am I? He said, you're under the pump. What do you have under the pump?
I got Adam Kingsley and the Giants under the pump this week. And it's not a laughing matter, really. I mean, they do have a lot of injuries at the moment. Obviously missing Sam Taylor down back, Hogan up forward, Kelly, Alir. There's a big injury list, but for me, it's the way they play, Lordo. And when they're on defensively, I've always said this, when they're on defensively and they bring that attitude and they want to press the game and tackle and hunt, and they've got a perfect opportunity to do it against West Coast and get that game style back, because I know they can attack, I know they can run and carry the ball and use it, but I just question whether they're consistent enough defensively.
Danger game for them, isn't it?
Yeah, big danger game. West Coast haven't been performing that well over the last month, and they're going to want to play pretty solid.
Do they miss finals, the Giants?
If they lose today, they do, Brownie.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, good luck today.
Thank you.
We will be listening and watching.
Good.
It is TV.
Like to think
Alrighty, good on you, Jess. Now, before we head to a break, Damo, this is where you come into your own, mate.
Try to, TJ. We've noticed that the great David Attenborough recently celebrated his 100th birthday, TJ, and I love watching his old docos, and he particularly loves the Siberian squirrel and the majestic nature with which it moves from tree to tree and just gets through its daily life. It's a beautiful creature, Brownie.
It is.
Paddy Dangerfield loves David Attenborough and the Siberian squirrel, because look at him, Roy. He's mimicking the Siberian squirrel.
Yeah,
he saw that video last week. He said, I'm going to do it on Darcy Wilmot on Thursday night.
That's one of your best, Damo.
Danger, he does a really good impersonation of David Attenborough too, actually, so when we get him on next time...
Patrick Dangerfield?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Do you want to have a crack?
No. Won't embarrass myself.
All righty, we'll take a break. Handball is up next. Before we Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Look at us.
Very much.
We're like
the
twins.
same, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. In so many ways.
Good, you just stick around, Lordo?
He's in a hurry.
He's got to go.
No. What do you got on today?
What's that?
What do you reckon he's got on today, Dice?
Yeah, it's got to be a cashy.
We don't do cashy. I am doing something for the Fremantle Football Club.
Well,
who are they playing today?
Essendon.
Right, OK. So you just hitch your wagon to whoever's paying the most.
They're not giving me a watch or anything, though.
That's what happens when you're away, Lordo. We just get showered with gifts. Anyway, we've got two very special guests joining us for the handball today.
We do. We've already introduced Dyson Heppel and Clinton Young from the Hawthorn Football Club. Welcome, boys.
Thank you, boys.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well,
Now, you got a bit of a story around the hoodie. We've got all the merchandise at the back here.
Yeah, love it, mate. No, the kit itself. So, if anyone hasn't heard about H, the label, little Harrison Pennicott, young H-man. Met him throughout my career. He's the youngest in the world to be diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called scleroderma. Loves his drawings and artwork, so we utilised all of his graphics as the designs on the kit, and the proceeds of sale go towards ticking off his bucket list items. So,
this new range is unbelievable, and I was able to be fortunate enough to be part of the promotion of it. So, you know how bad my acting was with Sauce?
Is?
Well, I reckon I've seen worse acting, and it was by James Hurd. Let's take a look.
Oh.
Here we go.
Bomber, who would be the best player you've seen in your time at Essendon?
Hey, it's the Corey lads to interrupt. Yeah, mate, of course. You can absolutely grab a photo. Yeah, mate, of course. You can absolutely grab a photo.
As stiff as a
Great day, that was good fun.
Good.
Catch up with all the boys and good crew. And we're in the guts of a big sale at the moment. So online, 34% off on my B-Day. Actually, a little B-Day sale during the week. So it's all happening. Jump on, grab some kit. Love your work.
Birthday. Yeah. How old?
34, mate.
Now, before we get to you, Clint, just one more. I was telling the guys before we came on the story about the tent when Essendon came knocking. So what happened there?
Oh, classic. Like, throughout my draft year, I spoke to every club in the league bar Essendon. Hurdy was a coach. He was my idol as a kid, barrack for Essendon, and I thought, you got to at least just come for a yarn, come for a chat. I want to meet Hurdy. And anyway, night before the draft, they heard I might slip down the order a bit, and got a call from Hurdy saying, mate, it's Hurdy here. We're keen to come for a chat. We hear you might be available at our pick. Said, mate, if it's actually you, we're camping at the Burleigh Heads Caravan Park. I'll meet you at the boom gate at 6:30. And so, as he does, heard he rolls around the corner with his whole posse, the recruiting staff, punched the code into the boom gate. I'm in boardies, singlet, bare feet. Let him in. He sat around our tent on camp chairs. Dad fed him a couple of beers, and by the end of the night, it was, if you were there at pick 8 tomorrow night, we're going to take you. So that was my pre-draft interview, and away we went. So it was a classic.
That's great. I love that story.
And Clinton, you might be dusting the boots off soon. Actually, before you get to that too, what happened last time you pulled the boots on?
Well, I played in the grand final a couple of years ago. I did my hammy, and I retired, which is the right thing to do. But I've got itchy feet, so I think I might make a comeback soon. I think.
With who?
Getting going.
Hampton Rovers in the Ammos, yeah. So just contemplating right now. So we'll see how we go.
And you're still working at the Hawks in sales, doing a fine job in there, along with Rocket.
Yes, Rocket's at the club, so we have a lot of banter each week. But been back at the club for 4 years, and busy times. But yesterday was a bit grim, so hopefully Sam can get it right.
It was grim yesterday, but your performance personally in the 208 grand final, it still gets lost in the conversations around that first of the 4 premierships the Hawks won in that period.
Yeah, it was obviously a great day.
Fair left foot.
Look at that.
Left peg.
70. Speaking of Rockets.
Yeah, it was a great day. Obviously, I got injured early in the third quarter, and when I went off, I missed all the action, and Shuey Drew went off, so I should have went off injured earlier.
You were going to win a North Smith medal, weren't you?
No, well, we won. That's all that matters. And I was going okay in the first half, but the game was close. But then, obviously, the Hawks and the boys took over in the third quarter.
I think you're being modest, isn't he, Damo?
I think he is. I think had you stay there till the final siren, you might have got it.
No, I appreciate it. No, it was a good day for sure.
I just thought your side through there changed the game with the amount of left footers you had who were lethal by foot. Do you reckon that was something the recruiting staff did on purpose to draft as many good kicks like yourself?
Maybe. I think they say it's coincidental, but I think as a team we ran hard and used the ball well. So I think it was coincidental that there was so many left footers, but it worked well at the time.
All right, well, you're playing for this prize. It's the best prize pack in the business.
This is the end of year prize.
You're going to beat Dustin Fletcher. This is the Temper mattress. So this goes up and down. It goes into a mode called 0G, which is where astronauts take off just before they go into space. This is
Dyson's
the best mattress in the bed. Once you've slept on this, you will not sleep on another mattress your entire life. You know what happens when you sleep well at night on the Temper? You play golf well during the day. So the Callaways, the Quantums, they're the latest, they are the greatest, and there is no excuse for not hitting it straight down the middle of the fairway. So you let me know when you want the yellow footy, which is worth double.
Let's go, mate. 7.
7. Hey, here we go. Nice start. 7.
Hands.
24. 7.
Oh, get up.
You want the yellow?
Yeah, no, actually give me one on the yellow. Is that 4? 1 to go?
That's it. That's the only time on the yellow.
Here we go. Oh, that's young. 7.
14. So that's it. 45.
Right,
Clinton Young.
All right, brother.
That's well on track, though.
Yeah.
7. 7.
5, was it?
Oh, that was 7. 7.
7. 21. 7. 28.
Feeling one here.
7. 35. Very consistent.
Here we go.
Back to Dyson Heppel. 7.
Oh, get in.
42.
Oh, juice.
Get in.
7. 49.
Aye.
7. 66.
Come on now.
Yeah. 7. 1 to come.
1 to
73.
You didn't want the down, I reckon.
7. And moves to 80. So not a bad score.
A ring-a-ding-ding.
Clinton's got the yellow ball.
Clinton, you haven't used your yellow one yet either.
Save it, yeah.
Save it.
Oh.
5. Lucky you didn't use it on that one. 40.
Well, he would have
7. 47. 7. 54.
Here we go, Youngie. Dial 1.
7.
Yellow.
Can he win with a double?
No.
No. Especially not with that one.
He could have, brother. Well done.
He could have won.
Well, our winner for today is Dyson Heppel from the Essendon Collingwood Football Club. Where do you want to do these days?
Yeah, lean out the Parrots, mate. There you go. Happy days.
Parrots. Good team. All righty, that does wrap it up. I'll tell you that story later. There's nothing sinister about it. There was nothing sinister about it. I was just saying, I bring her egg up in the morning and I hold the spoon and she presses it and she just goes like that because the bed goes up.
This is outrageous.
Probably you should have told
Rather we didn't hear it.
That's what we're waiting for. Shocking. Wherever you may be, may the sun shine on you today because it's not on Tony.
Oh, no.